Hey guys, Nick here. I just want to make a video about something that's been bothering me a lot lately, and something that means a lot to me because it's part of one of my favorite shows. And obviously, if you're reading the title of this, you know why I feel that the character of Laurel Lance on Arrow is horribly mistreated by fans. And I understand certain criticisms of Laurel's character, but when some people, especially when they just don't like the character at all, and they blame the actress, I think that's really unfair because I think Katie Cassidy, like the actress who plays Laurel, she's done a really, really good job with what she's been given in the show. And I've never thought she was the problem with Laurel, with the character. And I've gone at length in the past about my concerns with Laurel as a character and where she was going and where the writers of the show were taking this character. And in all honesty, the more I thought about it, because I've been watching Arrow since day one, and initially I didn't like Laurel all that much, to be honest about that, but I saw promise with the character because I could tell that Laurel, as a character, Laurel loved what she did when she had that law firm or whatever in season one that kind of helped people who were struggling with financial issues or couldn't really afford like any other type of attorney, and she was help the less fortunate people because she wanted to do the right thing and bring justice to those who were wronged. And I like that aspect of the character. Obviously, like that was one of like the first early on steps of her evolution towards Black Canary. And it was a minor step, but like it's in the grand scheme of it, yeah. But I feel like as a character, Laurel's always been strong-willed, and the thing that bothers me most is when people call Laurel weak and stupid and all these names. Even though I haven't always liked her as a character, I've never been one of those people to be like, "Oh, Laurel's a stupid character." Like, "Oh, can they just kill her off, please?" Like, "Oh, the actress is terrible," and then they're all people who like send her death threats, and which is completely stupid. And if you're one of those people, you should go get some help. But why it bothers me is because Laurel. The more I've thought about it, Laurel has been through a lot in her life. She lost Oliver, the love of her life, or she initially lost him, when he went away, or well, when everyone thought he was dead in the 5 years and all that. She lost him once, found out he was cheating on her with her sister. That's enough to already like mess up a person and their emotions for a long time. And when Oliver came back, yeah, you can't imagine how she must feel like having someone who they thought were dead come back. Like, have any of us really experienced that sort of thing? I doubt like many of us have. I've never experienced anything to that capacity. I like to in relation to my own life. Like my own mom passed away. I don't want to like make anyone feel sorry for me, but like I wouldn't honestly. I would know how I would react if my mom came back and I found out she wasn't dead. I mean, like I would be emotional. I wouldn't even. I can't like imagine how I would feel in that situation. So when we judge Laurel on who she is as a person, I don't think a lot of us really take into account what Laurel has been through. I mean, she loved Oliver to death. I mean, she really did. And when she found out that Oliver was dead and cheated on her, and not just with Sarah, but like he cheated on her so many times. Like, Oliver treated her like shit. I mean, she did not deserve any of that crap, honestly. And when people criticize her and her actions, they don't take into account like what she's been through. Up to this point, okay, she lost Oliver once. He came back, found out he was cheating, and then okay, so she thought her same thing with her sister, her own sister. She thought her own sister was dead. She came back too. Okay, imagine having that happen like twice in a lifetime, where you thought someone was dead and then they came back. She hadn't happened with Oliver, happened with her sister. But then, of course, when she found out Sarah was back, that was in a rough time in her life because again, another thing she went through, she lost Tommy, another man she loved, and so in her lifetime, she's initially lost three people who she loved to some great capacity, whether it was Sarah, Oliver, or Tommy. She's lost a lot of people for someone her age, and imagine the toll that would take on a person. Okay, imagine if you, whoever's watching this, say you lost your partner, the love of your life. Say that happened once. Okay, we all, like, a lot of us know how that would kind of, like, we can imagine how that feels. Imagine that happening not once but twice, and imagine losing your sister or your only other sibling. Imagine having them come back. All those, like, just how could I can't even imagine it, because it's just none of us are ever really in the situation. So when we judge Laurel on things she does in a singular episode, I don't think that's fair, because are we all perfect? Do we all say stupid things sometimes? Like, come on, like, if we're thinking realistically, Laurel obviously hasn't always made the best decisions. Do any of us make any of the best decisions? I mean, even me, I make dumb decisions all the time. I'm human. I don't claim to be perfect or anything. And if, say, like, excuse me, if I was on a TV show, and, okay, if my life was on a TV show, you guys probably, same sort of thing. You guys are going to be complaining about me. But a lot of people don't take into consideration the emotional toll of like what Laurel has gone through. And that's my big thing. That a lot of people don't understand why she makes certain decisions. And she's human. She's going to make mistakes. Some people, I think they just hate her just to hate her. And they say all these nasty things about her because that's like, within the Arrow fandom, that's the popular thing to do, is just, like, is to talk shit about Laurel and say, like, oh, she's worthless. She's, like, just kill her off, blah, blah, blah. And again, I think that's so unfair, because, again, up until recently, I've been cautiously optimistic about the whole Black Canary storyline that they're currently doing on Arrow. And while I'm still cautiously optimistic, I was still worried. Like, again, like, I mean, like, even though I've come around on the Laurel character, there are still instances of which she does kind of, like, do some annoying things. But, like, then again, like, I've never been on the, like, bandwagon of, like, oh, Laurel's a horrible character. Because the one thing to think about too is the writers of Arrow haven't always, okay, because Laurel isn't part of, like, the main storyline of the show. She kind of, like, has, here's the main storyline of the show, like, and, like, this is kind of her, and they kind of, like, and never really, like, up until, like, recently, it never really fit in with, like, the streamline of what the main story was focusing on. It wasn't up until, like, the end of season 2 last year, when Laurel started to become, like, part of, like, Team Arrow and, like, part of, like, the main story, and I think when her character started to become a lot more interesting, a lot more engaging, because writers are, like, now that she's, like, up in front with everyone, and not just some side character that they're just writing random stuff for, that's when, at least in my opinion, that, like, she started to slowly come around for me. And what I've noticed this season is that Laurel, I think she's been written better this season than she has in the past. And up until now, I've really enjoyed her characterization throughout this season. Because, again, she lost Sarah in the season premiere. And now, and just throughout this whole, up until now, she's been, training with Ted Grant, and it's been a slow process. And people, again, this is another major issue. People complain about the idea of her being Black Canary because she's not skilled. Like, what place does she have? Like, she's not her sister, who was an assassin, part of the League of Assassins and all that. Like, who is she to be, like, put on a mask and just jump in the streets and, like, fight when she has, like, no, like, real skills? And I understand that aspect of it, because obviously Laurel doesn't have the training that Oliver and Diggle do, and even Roy. And I understand, like, that side of it. But when they judge a character on the decision she makes, that's just like judging, like, any other person out there. Like, we just like to judge because that's just how we as humans are. Like, we like to just do that to other people, whether we want to admit it or not. That's how we treat people, and especially on TV, when it's a fictional character, then, like, you don't really feel guilty about it because they don't really exist. And while I know this whole thing was like, oh, well, Laura doesn't exist, so why does it matter? Well, I mean, like, if you care about the show, and, like, it seems like a good amount of you do, then I just don't think it's fair to treat Laurel the way a lot of fans do, because while she isn't the best written all the time, and I admit that she's not written the best all the time, just as a character, I think she's a lot stronger than a lot of people give her credit for, because she's been through a lot. She's lost more people in her life than most people will ever lose in their life, and it's not fair because she's been through a lot. Like she's been through a lot of heartaches and heartbreaks, and again, even though she hasn't been written the best, like I still contend that she's really like a strong character, especially like for like this season. She's been like a stronger presence on the show because now it's like she knows what she wants to fight for, and with her becoming Black Canary, like I don't think that's necessarily like out of character for her, because even in season one, she's always tried to do the right thing, and that's a great aspect of the character. And her becoming Black Canary, I don't think it's so far-fetched, because she wanted to follow in the steps of her sister, and one of the things I think too is her sister had insecurities about her even being the idea of like her, like Sarah being here. Like Sarah like was very insecure about that because, you know, with her past, she was always like afraid that like her past, like because of what she's done, like it doesn't make her a hero. And I think that's one of the reasons too, because Laurel obviously hasn't killed anyone, so I think she wants to build on what Sarah tried to establish with her being the Canary. And because she loved Sarah so much and what Sarah was trying to stand for, like Laurel, because Laurel always wants to fight for what's right and do the right thing, she's like, you know, like she feels the need to, you know, follow in her sister's footsteps. And I while people are gonna have their criticisms about that, no matter what I say, I understand certain aspects of it, but I mean, you know, you guys are gonna think whatever you're gonna think. I just wanted to throw my thoughts out there because I think it's not fair that fans treat Laurel the way they do. And I'll admit, like the way some fans treat Laurel, I treat Thea. And I'm throwing that out there because, you know, I can say the same argument about Thea, but for me, like me personally, I just don't like Thea. And if you just don't like Laurel as a character, just for like non like just hateful reasons, then like okay, then she's just not your type of character, whatever. But honestly, I think just a lot of you guys don't give her enough credit because, again, she's been through a lot as a character, and I've been repeating that, but it bears repeating because that's why she is the way she is, and why she acts the way she acts. And while she's very like she's an emotional character, she brings her emotions out a lot in a lot of episodes. Don't we all know that one person in our life who kind of does that? So I know I keep drawing comparisons from real life, and this is all about a fictional character. But for me, it's just, I think it's really annoying and unfair and rude the way some fans of Arrow treat Laurel as a character. And if you just don't like her because, for non-hateful reasons, then understandable. That's just your opinion, it's your opinion. There's nothing I can do to change how you think. But for me, it's just, again, I started up as someone who didn't necessarily care for Laurel that much, and even throughout season 1, season 2, for the most part, like she was kind of there for me. But now that she's starting to become part of the show, I mean, I'm still holding any all judgments on how they treat Black Canary until later on in the season. But for like up until now, I think the writers are improving the Laurel character now that she's starting to fit within like the main story of the show. So those are just my thoughts, and again, something that kind of means a lot to me because, you know, I'm a huge fan of Arrow, as most of you guys know, and I just wanted to throw my thoughts out there because I still think that obviously that Laurel hasn't been treated with enough respect, and if you just don't like her, you don't like her. Nothing I can do to change how you think. But hopefully, some of you guys say that, oh, well, maybe Laurel isn't just so bad. But if you guys just think she's just a terrible character, just whatever. I just want to throw my thoughts. Again, just throw them out there. Well, and that'll be it for me. And until next time, guys, have a good one.